glad to have you join us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja for Sweden on a two-day visit to represent Nigeria in bilateral engagements with the Scandinavian nation. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, said this is at the instance of President Bola Tinubu. During the working visit, the Vice President will engage in high-level bilateral talks with key government officials, including a meeting with Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden and the Swedish Prime Minister. Shettima will use the visit to explore opportunities for strengthened collaboration between Nigeria and Sweden in areas such as ICT, innovation, education, digitalization, sustainable transport, mining, and agriculture. The Vice President will also meet with Nordken, a Stockholm-based venture capital impact investor, which recently launched Nordken 22, a $205 million tech investment fund for Africa. While in Sweden, Shettima is also expected to articulate Nigeria's economic vision and the reforms being undertaken by the administration to create a business-friendly environment in Nigeria for investors. The Vice President is expected back in the country on Saturday. We look at other issues. Senate has called on authorities to assist victims of Tuesday's night's tanker explosion in Majia Taura local government area of Jigawa State. The issue raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Senator Babangida Hussaini drew the sympathy of the legislators as they expressed sadness over the death of over 100 persons and about 300 others that sustained injuries. The tanker laden with petrol was involved in an accident and exploded when residents were scooping the content. Meanwhile, Senate has mandated a committee on special duties to investigate the rumored invasion on social media of the National Assembly by personnel of the Department of State Service over impeachment speculations of presiding officers, which it described as fake news. Still on the tanker explosion that happened in Jigawa State that claimed over 100 lives, Vice President Kashim Shettima has announced immediate intervention of the federal government and called for a comprehensive review of fuel transportation safety protocols across the country. The Vice President, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, expressed sorrow for the families who lost loved ones in this tragic incident and prayed that Almighty God grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. The Vice President has directed the immediate deployment of the National Emergency Management Agency personnel and resources to Jigawa State. He commended first responders and medical personnel for their tireless efforts, stating their dedication exemplifies the best of the nation's spirit. Vice President Shettima had inaugurated the National Road Safety Advisory Council last Friday with a charge on members to align with global best practices in reducing road crashes. In the meantime, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu condoles with the governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Namadi, and the people of the state over the unfortunate tanker explosion which left many dead and injured. In a statement, she describes the tragic incident as unfortunate, asking God to comfort those affected by the incident. She says her thoughts and prayers are with all the victims at this time, praying God to grant the friends, families, and loved ones of the departed souls the fortitude to bear the painful loss and speedy recovery to the injured. Let's look at legislative matters. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging the executive arm of government to hasten the submission of the 2025 appropriation bill to the National Assembly for consideration. Adopting a motion by Representative Clement Jimbo, the House noted the need to present the medium-term fiscal policy framework as stipulated in the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007.
The House further notes that Section 11, subsection 1b stipulates that the federal government must, not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next financial year, cause to be prepared and laid before the National Assembly and entered for the next 3 financial years. Further worried that the time the National Assembly requires to exercise its functions as enshrined in Section 88, subsection 2B, is technically being taken away by the non-compliance of Section 11B of Fiscal Responsibility Act by the Executive.
And giving a time frame to go ahead and get these budgets passed within a month, just like what happened last year, Mr. Speaker, is going to affect our oversight functions.
The last budget, like we rightly noted, we were almost rushed. In fact, we were rushed into concluding that budget. And that is what we want to avoid.
We must have the full time to examine the details. The full time.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. This motion is referred to the Committees on National Planning and Economic Development, Appropriation and Finance for further legislative action, and they are given 2 weeks to report back to the House.
Meanwhile, the House at today's plenary received the report of its Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to review the service years of police personnel. Women and youths in the Niger Delta area will soon have more costs to share, following a strategic partnership that has been worked out between the Renewed Hope Initiative and Niger Delta Development Commission to expand the scope of empowerment in the area. Managing Director of the Commission, Samuel Ogbuku, disclosed this after meeting with Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, in her office.
We in NDDC, we have seen the laudable projects of the Renewed Hope Initiative, and we thought there was a need for us to also identify with all the programs and engagements of the Renewed Hope Initiative. So we met with Her Excellency and decided to forge a partnership with the Renewed Hope Initiative. And this partnership is going to be in various areas, ranging from medical to education. So in our next set of our medical outreach is going to be a partnership between the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC. And also in the distribution of our educational tabs, the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC is also going to partner to ensure that at least the U-Lesson educational tabs which we are distributing will be a partnership between the Renewed Hope Initiative and NDDC. Even in our youth internship scheme too, we're also bringing Renewed Hope Initiative on board too, which is in the area of job creation. Also in the areas of other, empowerment for women and other areas too. So our team and the team of the Renewed Hope Initiative are going to be meeting very soon to also, expand most of these areas of collaboration. I think it is good news for women and youth in the Niger Delta because, the Renewed Hope Initiative has that human face, which we also want to partner with to expand the scope of what we are doing in the Niger Delta for the women and the youths.
Well, empowering women economically remains the tool to driving gender equity and secured rights. This was the message of President Bola Tinubu, delivered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the Empower Her fundraising dinner, where gender advocates commit to women empowerment for all-round accelerated progress. Elizabeth Omori reports that the event was at the instance of the Ministry of Women Affairs in Abuja.
In building a resilient and equitable society, women empowerment is sacrosanct to addressing disparities in key areas of endeavor for national development. Tackling these obstacles informed the decision to empower Nigerian women and further upscale their social, political, and economic relevance. President Bola Tinubu, in his message, noted that the initiative is a beacon of hope for a brighter future for the Nigerian woman.
In empowering women in agriculture, we must prioritize investment in agricultural training, access to land, I think this is very critical. And financial services for women farmers. This will enable women to increase their yields, improve their livelihoods, and contribute to Nigeria's food security. By doing so, we will unlock the full potential of agricultural sector and drive and deepen economic growth.
Development partners, state governments, philanthropists, and other state actors pledged to advance the cause of women, to amplify the vision of the current administration in leaving no one behind.
Empowering women, therefore, means equipping them with the tools to participate fully in all sectors of society, from agriculture and technology, from leadership to entrepreneurship.
This empowerment is the tree, while every other problem we have are the branches. Let us feed the trees so that the branches will come out very fertile.
The project, tagged Empower Her, captures areas such as farming, justice, health, education, and finance to give women a sense of commitment to national development. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Federal Government Girls College Bida, founded on October 14, 1974, has been shaping the destinies of young girls for 5 decades. A school renowned for excellence, discipline, and empowerment. The institution recently celebrated its Golden Jubilee with an event that left a lasting mark on all who attended. Let's hear from Ian John.
The event was not just a gathering, it was a homecoming. Alumni from across the globe reunited to relive memories, reconnect with friends, and celebrate the school's journey through the years. Old friendships were rekindled, while new memories were created.
When I got to FGC Bida, I had the first experience of educational stability. For the next 5 years I was there. I recall that in my set, the then 19 states of the Federation were all represented.
The celebration wasn't just about reminiscing. It was also about giving back through a grand fundraising effort for the school, and awards were presented to distinguished alumni and individuals who have left an indelible mark on the school's legacy.
Building and nurturing this sisterhood hasn't been easy, but we have persevered over the years.
I feel so nostalgic. I wish the federal government would try to maintain the federal government colleges the way they were 50 years ago.
My expectation and our expectation is that the girl child is well educated.
As the school moves beyond its golden year, it stands as a testament to the power of education in transforming lives. In Abuja, Yenagoa, John, NTA News.
Bayelsa State, no doubt, plays home to numerous rivers and waterways in the country. Yet, its citizens over the years have been struggling to access clean drinking water. The governor, Duri, promised in his most recent broadcast to provide the people with pipe-borne water, which has continued to spark reactions. Ifoma Aikoje, in this report, examines the prevailing situation in Yenagoa, the state capital, and the expectations of the people.
Bayelsa State is about 90% riverine. However, the irony of persistent scarcity of potable water, despite its abundant water resources and its devastating impact on residents, have been an age-long concern.
For first time for evening, keep them till morning, then we shift on and we drink. Then they cook, they can feed about children. Now because of this water now, see my baby body.
Around the communities of Yenagoa, you would see in a community, you see maybe the toilet, the jetty where people go to defecate, and just by it, somebody is swimming, and just by somebody else is fetching water. I'm sure that one they are fetching, they want to use it for household consumption. That's how we have just lived in this state.
Before we used to fetch from the river to drink, but now because of the muddy of the water, we cannot fetch from this river, and we are suffering because there is no good water for us to drink.
Most households spend a fortune to enjoy the services of water vendors, yet the quality of this water is a story for another day.
Aside the one we call the sachet water for drinking, aside that 1,000 naira every day to get water. I mean, the burden is much.
A can of water, 20 litre, 150, which is very hot.
The people anticipate that government and relevant stakeholders will keep to the promise and take prompt actions. Ifoma Ihoje, NTA News.
Water, they say, is life. Then imagine not having access to clean water. You can imagine. Well, let's connect to Ifoma, I beg your pardon, right now in Yenagoa. She's standing by to give us more insight into this critical issue. Ifoma, if you can hear me, please just go ahead and tell us how the state government, well, rather hopes to achieve what he promised the people, talking about providing potable water for the people.
The lack of government-provided potable water in Bayelsa State has been a daunting challenge for residents, households, and even businesses for over a decade now. Imagine having to spend over 150 naira for one keg of 20 litre, which is a staggering expense for many. This burden is exacerbated when considering the daily water needs of individuals and families who have to depend solely on private water sellers, popularly known as Meruwa in this part of Nigeria. Yeah, I'm quite optimistic about the governor's promise to provide pipe-borne water in Yenagoa and its environs. The initiative is a welcome development. However, achieving this goal requires careful planning, coordination, and commitment. The facilities and distribution networks have to be upgraded. The benefiting communities must be made to get involved to foster a sense of ownership, and sustainability measures should also be considered. By determination and effective implementation, the government's promise to provide potable water in Yenagoa and its environs can be a reality. While efforts to speak with relevant authorities failed, we gather that activities are ongoing and equipment are already being distributed to transmission spots. Rehabilitation processes are on to make true the governor's promise. The people are optimistic that in next to no time, they can walk up to their taps, turn it on, and fetch potable water. For me, this is going to contribute immensely to public health. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Ifoma, there, our correspondent from Yenagoa, giving us insight into what the governor promised the people, talking about providing affordable drinking water. Well, let's cross over from Yenagoa. We're getting to Lagos now to join Jennifer to pick up with the next set of reports. Jennifer.
Access to safe drinking water and sanitation are crucial if we have to keep disease away. Now we'll go to the rail line in Lagos. Residents of the suburbs of Lagos West can now easily access the city center without fear of spending hours in traffic. This development follows the ceremonial inauguration of commercial operations on the Red Line rail system by the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Joyken Abakoya has more on this.
The Red Line system, which shares standard gauge tracks with the federal government's interstate rail system, spans 27 kilometers from Alagbado to Oyingbo. Taking off from the Oyingbo terminal with Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his entourage, the train made several stops before its termination at the Alagbado station.
We don't want you sitting in traffic for hours when you can hop on the train and in less than 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you can go from the farthest end, on this train to all the way to Abado and vice versa.
The journey used to take like 3 hours, sweating, groaning, but today it's going to take like 35, 40 minutes of a very smooth ride, air-conditioned ride, cozy ride, and then everything that makes a life comfortable.
And this particular one in particular will impact the lives of everybody in Lagos in terms of travel time, in terms of socio-economic development and all of that. And I think it's a remarkable achievement.
For Governor Sanwo-Olu, the Red Line, which is capable of conveying 500,000 passengers daily and creating hundreds of jobs for Lagos residents, is a promise kept.
There will be regular schedule from Agbado all the way to Igbo and vice versa. And the schedule timing you can see from the various train stations.
Construction on the Oyingbo-Agbado line, which is the first phase of the 37-kilometer lane that is expected to terminate at Marina, began in 2021 and was inaugurated upon completion by President Bola Tinubu in January 2024. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abapuya, NTA News.
Good development there. The Controller General of Immigration Service, Kemi Nandab, has tasked personnel of the Nigerian Immigration Service to embrace new technological trends that will enhance quality service delivery to Nigerians. This is in view of the federal government's strategy to reposition the agency to meet international best practices in border security and migration management in the country. The controller was speaking during an inspection tour of its agency's offices and facilities in the Southwest Zone. S.A. Owamaka reports. This inspection tour of facilities and offices in the Southwest Zone, embarked upon by the Comptroller General of Immigration Service, Kemi Nandab, and other senior officials of the NIS, began in Lagos State with visits to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Oba of Lagos State, Rilwan Akiolu, as well as its passport and state command offices in Alagbon, Ikoyi.
We've automated our system, so it's much better now. It's easier, it's faster. What we're trying to do is to make sure that we maintain our timeline for delivery.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu praised the efforts of the NIS in curbing transborder crimes in the state. He promised to continue to render the needed support to them in delivering their core mandate.
Not only do we secure the borders, we also make sure that all those coming in, whoever comes in, is our business. We have that data. We profile the non-Nigerians. We have this data that can be very actionable for the state. So I'm impressing and I'm actually appealing to the governor to include us in that core security, committee of the state.
Strategic, agencies like yourself, we can actually look, and see what we can do. But other than that, quite frankly, it's really to encourage you, is to say that some of us are watchers, unsolicited watchers, of the service, and I sometimes commend them, sometimes I admonish them when I'm passing through those border posts.
The CGIS implored its personnel to exhibit high professionalism in the course of their duty to the nation. She emphasized the need to embrace new technological trends in enhancing quality service delivery. The inspection tour of the CGIS continues in other states in the Southwest Zone. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NTA News. That's all from Lagos now. We'll take a...
Glad to have you there. The Defense Research and Development Bureau's maiden annual seminar and exhibition is holding at the National Defense College, Abuja, with a focus on advancing local technology. Key industry players say it marks a milestone in Nigeria's quest for a robust military-industrial complex. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
Themed Enhancing Synergy in Research and Development, this event underscores the importance in driving technological advancement.
To declare the maiden edition.
Declaring the ceremony open, the Minister of Defense says it marks a milestone in Nigeria's quest for a robust military-industrial complex.
However, the financial and diplomatic impediments associated with the import of equipment and technology underscore the urgent need for developing indigenous capabilities through an integrated and collaborative approach.
Key industry players stress that local technology is vital to achieving this goal, aligning with the national technology policy.
We must ensure that technological developments are translated into practical solutions that meet the needs of our armed forces.
Given the level of involvement of the armed forces of Nigeria in a broad spectrum of security operations, the importance of developing indigenous equipment support has gotten increasingly more important.
Such partnerships are essential for fostering innovative solutions and building a dynamic military-industrial complex that can adapt to the evolving needs of our armed forces.
Leveraging local content is what key industry players say will advance the country in all sectors of the economy. From the National Defense College here in Abuja, Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
The NDLEA Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has commissioned NDLEA Marine Command Headquarters donated by the British government. Marwa said the facility will enhance capacity to tackle maritime drug trafficking, which poses severe threats to Nigeria and the globe. He added that the Commission has recorded significant seizures and arrests on the waterways and seaports. British Deputy High Commissioner Johnny Baxter said the U.S. supports NDLEA's work due to increased drug detections in Nigeria and the UK. Baxter say collaborative efforts are yielding results, disrupting gangs and preventing border crossing. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by Abimbola Hundeyin, said NDLEA's presence in Lagos has been pivotal in curbing illegal drug trade. He noted that the commissioning marks a significant milestone in the fight against drug-related crimes. Well, with just a month to Ondo's state governorship election, political parties have kicked off campaigns while the Independent National Electoral Commission is intensifying efforts we hear to ensure a peaceful, credible and, of course, free election. We join our correspondent now from Ondo, Abiola Rio, to give us details into latest development as preparations are heating up.
Good afternoon, Ruth. Thank you very much. Like you said, it is exactly a month to the governorship election in Ondo State. Although, according to INEC's guidelines, campaign should have started earlier, but just last week, the All Progressives Congress Party kick-started their campaign, while just yesterday, the PDP commenced its own campaign. Meanwhile, from the angle of INEC is making efforts to ensure that the election in the state is itch-free. Some of the strategies being put in place is the INEC meeting with critical stakeholders in the state. First of this set of these people is the religious leaders and faith-based organizations in the state, where the REC, the person of Oluwatoyin Babalola, urged them to sensitize their people on the need to come out en masse and exercise their franchise come November 16, 2024. Also ongoing in the state is a 3-day training for security personnel. We are talking about both the military and the paramilitary.
Okay, we've lost signal there from our correspondent in Ondo State, giving us update, latest development and what's happening as they prepare for the off-cycle election in Ondo State. But of course, we'll bring you developments as they unfold here on NTA. We turn to other issues. In a bid to ensure violent free exercise, still on the Ondo State governorship election, the Nigeria Police Force, we hear, says it's well prepared for the exercise with contributions from sister agencies. Francis Pham reports on this and other activities from the force headquarters in Abuja.
The forthcoming off-season governorship election in Ondo State, the fight against crime and criminality in the country, and the review of security during the Edo governorship election, among other issues, were on the table for deliberation at the IGP Strategic Management Conference.
I urge all involved to replicate and build upon the successes recorded in the Edo State election. We must ensure a robust security architecture and that officers perform their duties with impartiality. From July to October this year, the Nigerian Police Force successfully rescued 369 kidnapped victims, recovered 416 firearms of various makes, retrieved 178 vehicles, and 10,852 suspects were arrested across the country. That our mission to ensure the safety of Nigerians is ongoing and paramount. We must continue to evolve, adapt, and strengthen our strategies to uphold our commitment to public safety.
On the recent political crisis in Rivers State, IGP Kayode Egbetokun has this to say.
The police didn't do anything wrong in Rivers. We acted professionally. We followed the rule of law. The barracks in Lagos are collapsing.
IGP Egbetokun assures that all police barracks in the country will be given first lift. Francis from NTA News.
Ibadan is our next stop, and Kemi Oshin is set to guide us.
Thank you very much, Ruth, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. The professional support of the Nigerian Air Force through its men who have been part of Oyo State security architecture and those serving as members of the committee for the upgrade of Ibadan Airport to an international status have been commended. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde gave the commendation when he received the Air Officer Commanding Logistics Command Ikeja, Lagos, Air Vice Marshal Kolade Ademuwagun at the Governor's office in Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola has the report.
Accompanied by Air Officer Commanding 671 NAV Detachment Ibadan and other top echelon of the Nigeria Air Force, Air Officer Commanding Logistic Command, Nigeria Air Force Ikeja, Lagos, Air Vice Marshal Kolade Ademuwagun was received by Governor Seyi Makinde, commending the Nigeria Air Force for being a pillar of support for his administration and complementing its effort in keeping the state safe. Governor Seyi Makinde said his administration will continue to provide all necessary support for the Air Force towards rapid completion of the Air Force base in Abuja, Ibadan, as well as collaborating with the force on other areas of operations.
As we move along, request for further support from us, and we will oblige you. We want to see an expansion of the Nigerian Air Force footprint in Oyo State.
While appreciating the cordial relationship that has always existed between Oyo State government and the Nigeria Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Ademuwagun said Governor Makinde's strategic vision on economy, education, agriculture, and other sectors has brought about significant achievements to the Pacesetter state.
In this time in our history, we look forward, we look up to good leaders, leaders that are sincere, and I can say with a sense of purpose that you have demonstrated that.
It described Oyo State as a place of significant history, rejuvenated for the benefit of mankind through Governor Makinde's initiative. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Oyo State government is taking proactive measures to tackle gender-based violence through advocacy for a violence-free society. Grace Ayoleke reports that the engagement seeks to address cultural as well as traditional practices fueling the prevalence of GBV in Oyo State.
Is violence is still a growing challenge despite efforts to tackle the menace. Wife of Oyo State Governor Tamuno Menini Makinde is therefore teaming up with leaders of women in the local government areas to tackle the issue from the grassroots.
Oyo State is among, I think, the 5 states in Nigeria that have the highest rating in female genital mutilation. Domestic abuse and women violation. And these are the things that I want you to campaign against. For gender-based violence work next month, we are sending the message and not just making noise.
With a focus to continually improve the quality of lives of the people, the women are optimistic of positive results with a bottom-top approach.
Especially for genital mutilation, they are not aware. But now there is awareness at the grassroots level that there is a side effect for the children. We go around the market, we create awareness.
This advocacy is a part of a larger movement towards a month-long activism against gender-based violence and other forms of violence. In Ibadan, Grace Ayonleke, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues with Diba Bari in Port Harcourt after this break.
To Port Harcourt. Nigerian Navy is strengthening ties with communities in River State via a non-kinetic approach in prosecution of Operation Delta Sanity, targeted at halting crude oil theft and other forms of criminality in the maritime within the Niger Delta region. This time, the Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder, in its latest corporate social responsibility outreach, distributed educational materials to 4 schools intended to contribute to human capacity development in its host communities. Kingsley Amaju reports.
The Nigerian Navy is conscious of its host community's strategic role and partnership in actualizing the Operation Delta Sanity via intelligence gathering. This corporate social responsibility program, in compliance with the directive of Chief of Naval Staff, is to help strengthen ties with the host communities and in turn enhance information sharing.
Non-kinetic approach to the operation, and that includes educational facility, medical facility, amongst others. And we have to encourage you to study by giving this educational material.
Rumo Lumini community is one of the host communities where this educational outreach is taking place. Educational materials were distributed to Nigerian Navy Ship Pathfinder Primary School, Rumo Lumini, to aid educational development in the host community.
The essence of it is to sustain the fight for crude oil theft, dominate the waterways, and deny criminal elements for making use of the waterways. So we're not here to really just to fight crude oil theft. We are here to help the community to develop.
For the Rumo Lumini community, NNS Pathfinder has been a worthy corporate citizen via its community outreach programs, and the people are willing to reciprocate this by way of information sharing to aid the naval operations.
We rest assured that in intelligence and information gathering, we are always going to relay to you as at when due.
NNS Pathfinder had earlier also visited and conducted similar educational outreach to St. Patrick's School 1 and 2, Opobo Town, Model Primary School, Opobo, and Opobo Primary School in Opobo Nkoro local government area. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam, has emphasized the need for officers to acquire and sharpen their skills for utmost performance and leadership challenge. This was at the opening ceremony of the 6th Division Leadership Awareness and Development Cast 10 of 2024. The report. The week-long training is designed to equip officers with relevant leadership skills that are essential to reawaken them carry out their leadership roles responsibly. General Officer Commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdulsalam, said considering the environment of operation, it becomes pertinent to come up with critical thinking and quick decision to enhance capacity.
This is indeed to enable us to bridge the obvious leadership gaps in the system, especially while operating in a joint environment in line with the Chief of Army Staff's command philosophy, which is to transform the Nigerian Army into a well-trained, equipped, and highly motivated force towards achieving our constitutional responsibilities in a joint environment.
The training featured lecture by the Director General Nigerian Army Research Center, Major General Garuba Wada retired, with an interactive session, while souvenirs were presented to course participants. He urged the participants to practice the knowledge gained to enhance capacity. And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ruth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Dibabari. Federal government is determined to explore and utilize untapped gas potential to open up a new vista for global competition and drive surplus for consumption and export. The special advisor to the president on energy, Olu Verigen, said this during a high-level discussion with APC Professionals Forum. She added that the reforms taken by President Bola Tinubu in oil and gas sector have put the nation on a promising pedestal for future prosperity and energy stability.
Around some of the investors turning away from Nigeria over the last 2 decades, what was not as widely celebrated was the fact that 4 weeks after that negative press came, that same investor worked with NNPC to make an investment of over almost $600 million based solely on the directives of this president to unlock more gas investment into the sector.
You can appreciate that Asiwaju's government is that of seeing things delivered on the table, not about things that are talked about and never said. So what Nigeria needs is what he is doing for us today.
Commended Tinubu's presidency for diversifying the sector and opening windows for private sector participation, especially with the removal of fuel subsidy. In line with the constitution of APC, stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress in Bayelsa State have put on hold the ratification process of the suspension of the Minister of Petroleum, Oil, Heineken Dokobiri, and others having received the suspension order. The state chairman of the party says the stakeholders came to this resolution after a meeting at the party headquarters in Yenagoa. Doris Akumoye reports.
Which had State Executive Committee of the party and the State Assembly Caucus deliberated extensively, and on appeal of relevant stakeholders decided to put a hold on the ratification of the suspension to further consult with critical stakeholders on the advice of the State Assembly Caucus.
After extensive deliberation, the Executive Committee have resolved to take the ratification of the suspension carried out by the various local government.
They, however, call on the governor to call the commissioner to order. An expanded stakeholders meeting to tackle lingering issues will be conveyed soon by the party. In Yenagoa, Doris Akumoye, NTA News.
Professionals across various sectors of the economy have called on key players to begin to look inward in creating more robust and realistic models in driving innovative solutions to some of the national challenges. Well, this came to the fore during a high-level brainstorming of critical stakeholders where commitment to assist government in developing strategies for surmounting economic challenges. The professionals appreciate some of the economic reforms under the Tinubu's presidency, but appealed for involvement of experts in the implementation process for quick recovery and growth.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows and understands this very well. I do not believe he hates Nigerians and wants to inflict suffering in the land. As professionals, we too must look inwards and critically assess our contributions, both positive and negative, to the governance of our nation. As professionals against various sectors, medicine, law, engineering, accounting, education, you name it, we have a unique role to play in the development of our country. We cannot be mere spectators.
The orders to partner government in the revival of some critical components of the economy and advance strategy that will upscale performance and add value to the national development plan of the present administration. The National Institute for Cultural Orientation has unveiled a global cultural platform, Dudu Plugs, in Abuja. The portal is designed to showcase Nigeria's rich array of cultural practices and traditions. Gloria Agbo will tell us more.
The cultural heritage of Nigeria cuts across its diversity in music, exquisite cuisines, and colorful attires. To explore the creativity and ingenuity of Nigeria's vast potential is the reason behind the creation of Dudu Plugs. Dudu Plugs aims to reconnect the younger generation to their roots and encourage them to embrace the Nigerian culture with pride. It is a platform that has the potential to increase international exposure and present Nigeria as a prime cultural destination and investment hub, says stakeholders.
Dudu Plugs is not just about showcasing Nigerian culture. It's about fostering understanding and appreciation of cultural diversity.
Dudu Plugs allows users to explore, share, and celebrate 9 distinct cultural categories: music, fashion, arts, film, food, dance, green artistic building, technology, language, and literature, using technology as an enabler.
As we unveil Dudu Plugs today, may it serve as a symbol of unity and pride in our cultural heritage, because it reflects the colors, the stories, and the experiences that define who we are as a people.
It's going to be a place where the world will converge. The good thing about it is, not again will anybody speak about our culture for us. We will speak about our culture ourselves, and the time is just now.
So Dudu Plugs is coming at this time to use the power of technology to drive major sector in Nigeria economy through storytellings, businesses, talent development, youth development.
By 2030, Dudu Plugs is expected to engage over 1 billion global users, contributing to a deeper appreciation of Nigerian culture and fostering unity through its diverse tradition. In Abuja, Glory Agbo, NTA News.
Nigeria is indeed blessed, right? $30 trillion of investment and hundreds of jobs opportunities are the expectations from the Global African Investment Summit scheduled to hold in some parts of the country, including the FCD. And part of activities lined up for the event are to show support for the international gathering in honor of the Africans in diaspora, AU, and a meeting with government officials in Nigeria to promote the dual citizenship initiative under reparative justice and hold preliminary discussions on business opportunities in Nigeria.
This is an opportunity for Nigeria and our president to make history and write Nigeria's name in gold in the world records for being the first to use presidential exclusive rights to grant citizenship waiver to the African descendants. It is time for Nigeria to rise as the giant of Africa to take their place in the leadership of Africa.
Nigerians in the diaspora are over 20 million in number. We have over 18 million that we call the modern diaspora. And many, due to new technology of DNA, are tracing their roots back to Nigeria, back to their local governments, and back to their roots. This is the first of its kind, and after this, let me assure you, we are going to institutionalize this event.
This is a policy decision of the African Union, and all member countries are enjoined to implement these protocols and declarations by the African Union.
The historic African diaspora are indigenous Africans whose ancestors were forcefully carried away into slavery over 500 years ago. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for your company. Do have a lovely evening. I'm Ruth Aguele.
NTA, you come